Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Hey. Welcome. I can't believe it's the third one already. And it's our last one, inshallah, before who knows what the next month will bring, but it's our last one in the series for sure. But you're all welcome. And we're going to get started in just a minute. We'll just give people like 2 minutes to come in, and then we will get started at about 3 minutes past the hour. So let's go ahead and mute people. الذين يتلون كتاب الله وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم. Okay, I'm admitting people. If you're just joining us, assalamu alaikum. We're going to get started in about a minute. Just trying to get folks in the room before we start. Get a paper, get a pen, and we will begin in about 1 minute. Okay, Assalamu alaikum wabarakatuh. We're going to go ahead and get started. And the place where we're going to start from is to take personal account, first of all, before we begin with our guests. We want to take personal account. And the first question I want to ask us is, what was it that you prayed for? And you don't have to answer this, you don't have to say this to anybody. What was it that you prayed for last Ramadan that Allah answered you? I want you to take note for yourself. Please take a minute to answer that question. What was it that you prayed for last Ramadan? This time, last year, Ramadan 1445, it was Laylatul Qadr. There was one thing on your list that you really wanted, and Allah has done it. What is that thing? Don't say it out. Just write it down. Take a minute to write it down. Now, in the same vein, what was something that you made dua for last Ramadan and it's still pending? Write it down. What was something that you made dua for last Ramadan that is still pending? That you want it to be front and center during this year's last 10 nights. Final question that I'm going to ask us to think about, reflect on is, what was it? What is it? What is one bad habit? One bad habit that you're going to add to your list of du'as that you want Allah to take away from you? What is one thing that you're like, oh my goodness, I wish I could stop doing this? I think I'll be a better Muslim if I stop doing this. What is that one bad habit that you want Allah to take away from you? Thank you very much. So, those three things that we've just written down, hopefully, will make it to our dua list this last 10 nights that we are embarking on. The thing that you asked Allah for last year that Allah did for you, I hope it's top on your gratitude list. The thing that you asked Allah that Allah has not seemed, that it doesn't seem like Allah has done for you, I hope you also add that to your gratitude list, because Allah has promised to answer our prayers in many ways, including giving us what is better. And so I hope that we'll thank Allah for the things that we have asked for that we don't think we have gotten, because He has certainly given us better, or He's saving the reward for us in the place that it matters most. And the third thing that I hope that you also add to your gratitude list, that thing that you want to change, that habit that you want to change, I hope that you add that, because that's self-awareness. To be able to look at yourself and say, this is what will make me a better person. That takes a level of self-awareness that Allah doesn't give everybody, and Allah has given you. So I hope that these three things will form number 1, 2, 3 on your list of things that you're grateful for. And with that, I'm going to ask my dear sister to unmute. Good. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Aisha.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, first of all, I'm sorry I am a few minutes late. You didn't listen to my voice note, I don't think.
No, not yet.
My apologies, everybody. I prayed Asr. Asr just came in as we were supposed to start. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to be here. So, when I was putting together this 3 series, and I got to the part where I want to talk about the Knights of Power, honestly, there was no doubt who I wanted to talk about, and it was you, because I remember reading your book before I met you, and I thought, okay, how can I use the names of Allah very well during this last 10 nights? And who better to help us, to teach us how we can use the names of Allah, than somebody who has written a book about the names of Allah, the attributes of Allah. And I think about this in my Yoruba self, that if you go to a party, an Owambe party, the person on the musician on the bandstand, he starts to sing the praise of people. And when he starts to sing, let's say he's singing my praise, he's just singing, I bring out the money in my pocket and I just give the person. And I just start spraying. Nigeria, they say no spraying, but we shall do something. And the person is singing and your head is expanding. Allah is more than that musician. Allah is more than all of us combined. But He also wants us to praise Him. In Surah Isra, the last couple of ayahs of Surah Isra, where He says that, call upon Allah by Ar-Rahman, or call Him by any of His beautiful names. He owns these beautiful names, and He's the one. One of the things I like about those 2 ayahs in Surah Isra is that Allah is, depending on this translation that you read, Allah is the one that does not need anybody to save Him from shame. Does not need anybody to prop Him up. Does not need anybody to beef Him up. But we are the ones who do. So in these last 10 nights, the first question I want to ask you is, how do we use the names of Allah? And should we be chanting the whole 99 names, or should we just find the ones that we like? Like me now, I like Gani because it's my middle name, and it also means that I'll be rich. But what should I do with the attributes of Allah during this last 10 nights?
SubhanAllah. First of all, as always with you, that is not what I was expecting, because that is not what you said. That is not what you have been saying. That is not what you have been marketing. But I knew it. I was like, I'm not coming into this space, and what she said she was going to do is what will happen. It will be as Allah intended it. And I'm so grateful to him that I didn't spend time preparing beyond asking him to use me as the conduit to whatever it is that anybody here, myself first and foremost, is supposed to hear, subhanAllah. And for me, the names of Allah has just been an incredible springboard to another life entirely, subhanAllah. Another life entirely that I didn't even know was possible. And when I say another life, it is that the connection with Allah that is quite simply what every slave has been created to seek, to return to, no matter where you head to. If you drift off, you're close, you're not. That is really what we are created to do. That is what worship is. It's the connection to Allah Azza wa Jal. And for me, I would say that before you begin to think about how to use the names of Allah as a tool, I think a really good self-assessment of ourselves is quite important, first and foremost. And I love that as I came in here, you had started with getting us to think about things that do matter, assessing where were you last Ramadan? Are you fully cognizant of the blessing to even be here this Ramadan? So many have not made it, and quite a few will not finish. We don't even know if, I don't know if, as I'm speaking, I won't make it to that Laylatul Qadr. Maybe Laylatul Qadr has already happened just 2 nights ago. Allahu Alam. Laylatul Qadr is that lottery of all lotteries. However, I would say that the greatest lottery is for you to even know Allah, to know Allah and to have submitted and surrendered to Him, and to understand that home is with Him. And your journey is entirely focused on the compass to how do I reach Allah, and how do I reach Him as He has told me to reach Him. And the only way you reach Him is if you know Him, and if you know Him and if you know yourself. So I would say that for me, it's less about which name you use in that space, but first of all, do you even understand who you are speaking to? And what is your adab with the person? Sorry, not with the person, with Allah Azza wa Jal. How are you coming into that space to address Him to begin with? I think that would be a starting point, very key. You know, when I've seen this over and over, and it's something that is just a big pet peeve for me. It's a very Nigerian thing. I've not seen any other culture do it. But when you want someone's attention, you know that thing that Nigerians do? Grab attention, forgive me, but I really, really have a big, big issue with it. But it works. It works. I know everyone here, if you're Nigerian, you know what I mean. Whether it's in a restaurant, it's in a public place, it's wherever, in the home, Nigerians use that sound to just grab your attention, or clapping. For me, I find that to be bad adab. It works, it's effective, but it is really, really bad, rude adab to address another person and get their attention in that way. If you come into dua and you are speaking to Allah and you don't even know His names, then who are you addressing? Because the power that exists in those names is incredible. Allah Azza wa Jal does not do anything, has never done anything that is meaningless, that is weightless, that does not have some huge benefit to us, His creation. Because as you kind of alluded to earlier, whether you praise Him, you don't praise Him, really, it doesn't change anything for Him. Absolutely doesn't change, doesn't take away, doesn't add increase or decrease from His kingdom, from His majesty. It is all for you, the slave that is turning to Him for your needs. So I think the point I'm trying to make is, what is your adab with Him when you come into that space to talk to Him? If you do not know Him and know about His kingdom and know about His mercy and know about His generosity, his haya, you know, which is such an amazing thing to me when I think about it. One of the names of Allah that always really takes me aback is that of Allah as Al-Hayy. Not Al-Hayy the ever-living, but Al-Hayy the shy one, I think, the modest one. I always think of it as thinking of Allah as shy to return you, the asking slave, with nothing. Like, think about that, subhanallah. Allah is the avenger, He is the mighty, He is the one, the only, and yet He has that modesty and shyness to turn you away with nothing when you have asked Him. I find that absolutely mind-blowing and humbling when I delve into those names and I am getting to know Allah at that deep level of, Ya Rab, you are all those things plus more at the same time. And to be able to witness it in action is something on another level. What more for me coming in then into whether it's Laylatul Qadr or at whichever point you're worshipping Allah, then it just becomes something that is not just on your lips or in your mind, it has to emanate from the heart. And there will become a synchronicity in every inhalation and exhalation of yourself as you approach Allah that changes, I think, once you understand the power of the names. And it becomes so much less about what He will give you, the thing that you're asking for. Because actually those things are I know everybody has needs. I know everybody has needs. And when we come with our needs to Allah subhanallah, those are the things that matter the most. We desire them, we yearn for them. But just to put it into context for us, Allah has told us that if He were to put together the entirety of His creation, and for that, I would ask us to kind of just sit with that a little minute and think about it. The entirety of Allah's creation is impossible to quantify, to imagine, because we that were here, we have existed for such a short time compared to all those who have come before. And all of His creation that are living include the animals, include the whatever creatures that are able to have needs from Allah Azza wa Jal, from the beginning of time immemorial. And Allah told us that from the beginning of time till the end, when He wraps up this earth, if all of you were to come and ask for all that you desired, and He were to grant it to every single creation that were to ask Him, does anybody here know the end to this? What Allah Azza wa Jal told us? Does anybody know?
If you know, put in the
Tope, do
chat.
you know? Yeah, do you know?
Me. No,
Do you know the example? Do you know the example Allah has? Yeah, the similitude He has given of that.
No.
Subhanallah. He said it would reduce nothing from what is with Him and His kingdom, only to the extent of what it is when you put a needle into water, into an ocean, and you pull it out. When you put a needle into the ocean, just poke it in and pull it out, what comes out with it? Does it bring any water with it? Because water doesn't sit on that needle. It doesn't even carry anything. So Allah is telling us that Him giving you everything, all of you, everything, and like literally everything. He's not even saying I am limiting it or there's some kind of criteria. No, if I were to give all of you, all of my creation, what you desired, the ones from the beginning, the first creation to the last one of you, the only reduction there would be in what is with me is as if you were to put a needle in the ocean and bring it out, subhanAllah. And if you really, really understand that, then you understand that there really is nothing for Allah in the giving that He gives you, in the praise that you praise Him, in order for you to get. Essentially, it is about the connection that you are building. It is essentially the surrender, the submitting, the essence, the antithesis, the opposite of shirk is in dua. That's what I think. I think it lies in dua. Because if I come to you and I say, I need a job, or my son, just graduated, or somebody is sick, can you help? There is an element of letting go and submission, surrendering to, I have to rely on her to do this thing, to connect with her network, to ask for me. And there's an understanding of my limitations when I come to you. But if I came to you and I said to myself, she's just a conduit. What is with her is from Allah Azza wa Jal. He is the source and He is Ar-Razaq. So I don't even need to come to her. I am going to ask Allah Azza wa Jal. I'm going to ask Ar-Razaq. I'm turning to Him as Al-Kareem, and He will provide me with my needs. Wallahi, Tope, you turn around and you come to me, you will call me, you will text me, you will be the one to reach out and say, I was just thinking about you. There's an opening here or anything. Do you have anybody who can fill that position? Wallahi, I'm not joking. I have seen it. I have witnessed it. It is the life I have led in the most incredible ways. A lot of it to do with food, but with more important things as well. And it just is mind-blowing when you understand that and you lean into it. That to me is the essence of saying to Allah, you and you alone are the only one worthy of worship. That is living la ilaha illallah. So it is the complete opposite of shirk. And I believe that is what Allah Azza wa Jal desires from us and for us when He is saying to us that in dua lies the magic, the connection that you're going to get. But when you're also speaking to me, what is your etiquette? Do you know who I am? Or are you just calling upon a Lord because you are desperate in that moment? And you just are calling on anything that will grab and be able to solve your problem and heal your pain? No. You need to know who Allah is. So for me, that is the use of, I know I spoke a lot, but in essence, what I'm saying is, first of all, what is the state of your connection with Allah? What is your adab with Him? How do you speak to Him in times of good times and in bad times? How do you speak to Allah? How do you address Him? Really, how do you call upon Him? In those moments of you've stubbed your toe, how do you refer to Allah Azza wa Jal? That is going to be the determiner of how you use the names of Allah for Laylatul Qadr.
Jazakallah khairan. So first of all, before I go on and ask any more questions, I just want to say how you said how Allah, when you know Allah, you call Him by the best names and you worship and you believe in Him that He's really the provider, somebody will come to you with something that you need. You know, they will be thinking about you and they'll bring it on your laps. So usually in the last 2 Saturdays, I usually take this call in my home office. I usually take this in my home office. But today I was feeling very lazy. And so I'm right now sitting by my bedside. And so I don't have my notepad that I use in my home office. I just reached out by the side of my bed and I grabbed the notepad because I think by writing. So there has to be a notepad anywhere I am. So I just grabbed the notepad by my side. And this is the notepad. You gave me this book last year. You gave me this book.
I remember Lagos.
Yes.
I remember.
And you know, when people give me gifts, I always write notes in it. And I wrote, gifted to me by Aisha Dahiru-Attah on Thursday, February 8th, 2024, during lunch at Meru Aliko's home. You know, and I made some, you know, I wrote what the significance of that day was, which you know, and I don't want to talk about this call. But it's interesting because at the time you gave me this book, I was making some dua, and that dua formed the basis of my Ramadan last year. And so when I opened this call by asking people to say what they were asking Allah for last year, that Allah has blessed them with this year, this is what I use this book for. Allah is just, you know, all knowing. First of all, thank you for the book. I really like it. It's my bedside, you know, don't forget things that I write down. But I also think that it's important for us to understand the fondness that comes with being thoughtful in our gifts to our fellow Muslims. Like, you know, we are gifting people, we're gifting, where is a form of worship in some way, shape, or form. You gave me this, and I've written so many duas in this book that I pray that Almighty Allah answers those duas, but He also gives you the benefit, you know, for those times. So you see, I know you, and a lot of people, maybe some people in school, you have a very chilled character. You have, you know, I can believe you when you're talking about, you know Allah, what's the other, which you call Allah, don't hiss that Nigerian streets way. I love all of that. But what about somebody who is like, I'm not like her. I'm not, you know, I'm kind of imperfect. I haven't even called Allah well. Especially, you said something that was like, ooh, in terms of my joy, how much of it have I done? So I kind of feel like the first 22 days of this Ramadan has been lost. And at best, we have 7 more nights left. And God forbid I've missed like that's a quarter and I did not wake up. What can I do? How can I, you know, in my imperfection, in my not like I'm not ladylike and chilled and Muslima as Aisha, what can I do to redeem myself this next 7 nights?
SubhanAllah. First of all, may Allah make us all better than others think us. That's just a perception, believe me, a total perception. SubhanAllah. And there is no such thing as us being anything other than flawed. Allah has told us that. All of us are flawed. And yet He is the same Lord who said, come to me as you are. He's not asking for perfection. The problem is human beings are the ones who place that expectation on themselves. You are the one doing that. Allah is not the one who has asked for perfection of you. Don't forget that He's the one who has designed and written everything for you. If you submit to that, then why would you turn around and think to yourself that there is something that is so flawed in me that He would turn away from me? Again, it comes back to, do you even really know Him? If you knew him, then you would understand that that's not what he's seeking. He is not asking that. And he has said, "La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha, laha ma kasabat wa alayha ma iktasabat." I will never burden any soul beyond what it can handle. He didn't say that I will not burden the human soul or mankind. He said any soul, a single soul. And each soul in this space is nothing like the other. None of us have the same blessings. None of us have the same tests, trials, nothing. So to look at somebody like me or you and use that as the criteria for where you might, how you might judge yourself down, I think that in itself is a very, very, very problematic thing to do. Of course, we aspire, but we have also been given those that we aspire to. We aspire to the Sunnah, to the Quran, the Sunnah and the Quran. And there are role models who have lived it to remind us that there isn't an expectation for you to be an angel. Nobody is expecting you as a new mother, not Allah Azza wa Jal, who blessed you with the thing you asked for, as a new mother, to then be a zombie whose heart is not in the worship that you are offering to him. That's not the Rabb I know. That's not the merciful Rabb I know, compassionate Rabb. I don't see that as, that's not how I see Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah is saying to you to look at your situation, your circumstance, and yet still recognize that he has offered this bonanza to everybody, but he's offering that bonanza to everybody exactly where they are, as they are, but with the sincerity of heart. I think it's looking at the heart. And I think I would like to keep saying that over and over. Looking at the state of your heart. Your body will be tired, your mind is tired, your heart is exhausted, but there's nothing stopping you in that moment saying, "Ya Allah, you created this heart. You gave me this life that I am struggling with. You gave me this test that feels like a mountain that is going to crush me into powder. But if you gave it to me, you promised, you are the one who promised that you would not burden a soul with what it cannot bear. You know that I can handle it, but I don't. I do not. In this moment, I'm not feeling that confidence. I don't have that strength. I have nothing left, but you are my Rabb, and I'm handing it to you because you are Al-Wakil. You are Al-Wakil and you are Ar-Rahman, and you promised, and you did it for your prophets. Where they could not carry themselves, Musa alayhi salam was terrified. He was petrified. And one of the things I love in the Quran is that Allah Azza wa Jalla speaks about the human emotion. He doesn't ignore it. When he speaks to what we should do, when he gives us the prescription to not despair, first he has said, do not despair before he tells you what to do. Your Lord is with you. He will guide you. When Musa alayhi salam sought for help and asked for his brother, Allah did not say to him, that's a useless emotion. You're not supposed to feel it. You're a prophet. You know, I've given you this and that, and therefore stand tall and blunt. He didn't. He said, don't be afraid. They cannot harm you. I am with you. So I would really want nobody to be looking and comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy, and that's true for Laylatul Qadr, for anything you are doing. What I would probably hope each of us would do on a night where you haven't been able to get up and you haven't done as much, perhaps you did more last Ramadan, perhaps you did more the night before, is to take stock in that moment to say, Ya Allah, this is where you have placed me, but where can I put myself? What effort can I make? I want to get to you. I want to reach you, but I am exhausted. I am tired. Or this is what's going on. My iman is challenged. Tell him that in that vulnerability alone of you recognizing and owning what your situation is and turning to him for help. Wallahi, there is magic and there is reward. Even if all you are able to do is that La ilaha illallah. But I would suggest for those of us that are that challenged, hold on to istighfar. Istighfar at the very least. The very least. Don't get all those checklists and those beautifully designed dua lists. There's so many of them out there. And you look at it and you think, that's the thing I'm going to print and put on my fridge. And I'm going to sleep at the time that they recommended. And I'm going to eat the menus that are out there. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I think that is a recipe for making it harder for yourself than Allah intends for it to be. Allah wants to just see that you can do 1 degree more. 1 degree more. 1 degree more. If that's all you can do, 1 degree more, lie down on that bed, wallahi, and be sincere with yourself before, because Allah knows anyway. Are you sincerely out of all that it requires to get up and make that wudu and offer those 2 rak'ahs rather than the 10 that you intended? Allah knows. Check yourself as you lie there. But as you're lying there, do a lot of zikr. Zikr is accessible to anybody. But where it may be a struggle for it to connect to your heart, leave it on your lips. It is better than not having it. Leave it on your lips. You doing it on your lips clears your mind of the things that are weighing you. And there is magic in Allah seeing your vulnerability and your weakness and knowing that this slave of mine is even doing more than the one who has energy and has strength and ate and did everything so-called perfectly. Because this Muslimah, this slave of mine, I know what she's dealing with. I know the burden. I know how hard it is for her to clear that mind. I know how hard it has been for her to even be in this Ramadan. I know how difficult it is. And this can count more on your mizan, subhanallah, than the one who seems to be flying through, subhanallah. So I would never advise that we look to others to judge other than to seek inspiration. Yes, I would want to be there, but you know what? That's for her. That's what Allah has given her. Perhaps she wasn't there last year. Perhaps she wasn't even there a day ago. But Laylatul Qadr, the 10 nights, the blessings, it's for all. Allah didn't carve it out and say it's only for this, this person who looks like this. He didn't. It's for everyone.
SubhanAllah. You were talking and I was just taking notes. And one of the things that I wrote was that I'm hearing you say is perfection is the enemy of progress.
Absolutely.
In the bid to get it perfectly, most of us will not make progress. Oh, I cannot do XYZ. I cannot do XYZ. It's the enemy of progress. I was watching a video clip of a young man yesterday, and he was saying he joined the 1,000 gang. And I was really curious that what is the 1,000 gang? Apparently, there is a group of people who do 2 rakahs, and then the second rakah, they recite Surah to a class 1,000 times. So the guy was not saying how by the time he got to 200, he was tired. I'm thinking, first of all, I will not be joining any gang like that. But secondly, I think that if we don't pay attention to things like this that you're saying, you'll be like, okay, how come somebody's able to do 1,000 Shati class and I'm not able to do one without going nuts? So we have to pay attention and not look at any other person. Also, there's an ayah which kept coming to my mind as you were talking. It's in Surah Al-Mulk, and Allah, he says something that means that should he not know who created you, that Allah knows what is in your heart, whether you say it out or you conceal it. Should he not know? He is the one who created you. So if I'm not able to get up at night because I am so tired dealing with the baby all day, Allah knows. He knows. Should he not know? He's the one who created me, and he's the one who knows that at 48 years old, running after an infant is going to be a challenge for me. So it goes back to your first point of knowing your Rabb. Because if you know Allah, then you know that he's not is Ar-Rahman, is the one who is most compassionate. He has more compassion for me than I have for myself. Like he certainly knows. So thanks, for
and
that.
Tope, he's not stingy. Another thing I want to say is Allah is not stingy. I think human beings are stingy. So we think of things very much in limited terms. Everything has a limitation. So the night, and it's true, everything has a beginning and an end, and time is the most precious, one of the most precious things that Allah has given us for us to use well. But human beings by nature, we have to fight hard against the scarcity mentality that is inbuilt within us. So when you come to it and you are thinking of, generally it can be the thing I didn't access, the thing I didn't get. And yes, we should not be complacent and sit in a place of, this is what it is, just Allah, just take it as it is. That's not what I'm saying at all. I am saying exactly what you have just said, that Allah knows. He knows the sincerity of that day you have had, that evening you have had. You can have a colicky baby. I mean, there's so many things that come with babies. In particular, it's a good example that your time is just not your own. Your life doesn't belong to you. It's a lie for you to think that it possibly could. Now, one thing that works really well, I think, has worked for me, and it is definitely within, not that I can quote anything, subhanallah, I'm not a scholar. However, I am blown away by the anchor of I am as my servant thinks I am. This for me is just such a beautiful life motto. I will always be as my servant believes me to be. How do you think of Allah when you come to that space and you are exhausted and you're tired and you're thinking, there are only 3 more days left or 2 odd nights or whatever, at this stage, just those days, and I've missed out. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And you start to beat yourself up versus lying in that space or sitting down and saying, Ya Allah, just here I am. Wallahi, I want to reach you. I want to serve you. I want to be that racehorse that is in that hadith. That the racehorse, it's at the end of the race that they strive more. I have heard about the Sahaba, I've heard about the Tabi'een. I am watching my sisters doing more and more and more, and it's overwhelming me. But here is where I am at. You, Ya Rab, you, Ya Rab, you are the most generous. You are the majestic. You are the vast. You are the one who possesses all honor and glory and the ever-living, the ever-sustaining. You will not leave me to myself. You will not leave me to myself. You will not leave me without a share of these blessings that are so abundant. Subhanallah, He is not stingy. What is Laylatul Qadr in of itself, Tope, when you pull it back? Imagine this. A friend of mine shared this with me just yesterday, and it was just really amazing. She said, what we have been told about Laylatul Qadr, we really need to try and visualize. What we have been told is that the descent of the angels, the number of the angels, are more than the pebbles that are on the earth and the stars in the sky. My sisters, go to Google or AI and ask, is it even quantifiable? The pebbles on the earth and the stars in the sky. The angels, the traffic of the angels for Laylatul Qadr, there will be no room. There will be no room. And what are they vying for? They're not vying for the cleanest, most pedicured, most, she's up there with the prettiest hijab. They are vying for where are the zakirin, where are those who are remembering Allah? We wish to record their names and take it up to Allah and say, this is how we met this slave. Now that slave can be prostrate, that slave can be lying down, holding their baby and talking to Allah and saying, Ya Allah, bless this child. This is the promise you made. You gave Zakaria a miracle and you handed me a child as an amana. I am a nation builder. Help me to do this work so that we reach you in this way. My progeny reach you as revivers, as revivers of the Sunnah. That's dua. That is remembrance of Allah, and you will be recorded in that space, especially if you are able to add Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. You do that 10 times. I mean, the Sunnah. There's so many. What is it called? I think a friend of mine calls it life cheat hacks, zikr cheat hacks, deen cheat hacks. This deen is easy. It is easy. Allah is not here to suffer us. But when we put ourselves into the mindset of, because I didn't do this, I'm going to beat myself up, versus, Ya Allah, there's still breath in my body. You have still preserved me. I am still here. I can still do something in the daytime. I can still do something. I can still go in to make that wudu that is difficult, whether it's with cold water in the middle of winter somewhere and everything. Ya Allah, talk to Allah as you're doing it. Ya Allah, accept this from me. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka anta sami'ul alim. Ya Allah, I left that bed and it was cold and it was freezing, but I am here and I'm trying to make this wudu so that I reach you purified as you have requested. It's not my best offering, but it is the best I can do right now. Ya Rab, accept it. So how you believe Allah will be is how He will be to you. However great He is in your sight is possibly how great you will be in His, really, at the end of the day. And I think that part is such an important, I don't want to call it liberating, because we don't want to be freed from working and striving to be better at every point in time. But this is not about beating ourselves up and feeling like, oh, well, what's the point? Because the shaitan may be chained up, but I always say our nafs is our own shaitan. I find that the nafs is more dangerous. I stand to be debated. I'm not getting into debate, but wallahi, for me, I find that the nafs is a far more dangerous enemy than the shaitan will ever be. The shaitan is weak. You know him. You know what his tricks are a lot of the time, and you know that if you say A'udhu billahi minash shaitan, you know what the remedy is, not your nafs. Because if you're not paying attention to your nafs, then that's what you are leaning into. That is you that is lying there and saying, Allah will not write me among those who are freed from the fire because I didn't do the 10 rak'ahs. Or I wasn't part of, what did you call it? The 1,000 gangs, subhanAllah. Like that in itself, you realize is bid'ah. No offense to anybody's intention, because I'll never know what it is, but that is a bid'ah. And to create an innovation is a sin. It is a sin. So you lean into, you look at those things, that's the danger of where we head to. The sunnah is simple. The sunnah is clear. When Aisha radiallahu anha asked Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what should I say if I reach Laylatul Qadr? The question was not what should I do. Her question was what should I say? And he told her, Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Say that with every step. Say that with every mix of milk. Say that in your workplace. Say that with every keyboard stroke that you are making as you are tired and wishing that you could be resting. Make zikr the entire day. Do sadaqah. Sadaqah, remember, is not just giving. It's not just giving money, subhanallah, wallahi. Sadaqah is also you deciding that one of your intentions for coming into this halaqah is to pick something, one thing, and share it as a sadaqah jariyah, because to share ilm is sadaqah jariyah. It is the month of Ramadan, and to make the intention that, Ya Allah, reward me an abundant reward as befitting Ramadan, and to set an intention to maybe do it in the night of the odd night, because maybe then it will be as if you shared a sadaqah jariyah piece of ilm for 1,000 months, subhanallah. So the simplicity that is available, I don't want to call it low-hanging fruits, because God forbid we ever consider it that. I can't think of the best analogy to use, but simplify your life. Whatever is challenging in your life, however exhausted you are, simplify it. Aim for those things that are simpler. Allah Azza wa Jal, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam rather told us that reciting 3 Qul Huwallahu Ahad is the equivalent of a third of the Quran. It's the equivalent. But you have to do that with intention. The kind of intention that is, Ya Allah, I genuinely wanted to do khatam this Ramadan. I intended to do 10 juz or 5 juz or whatever it is. Even with my struggling it's not even about tajweed, my tilawa, I can't even read properly, Ya Allah. But in this moment, I can't even move from where I am. I'm sitting in this chair, I am exhausted. I had 10 guests, or whatever your situation is. Ya Allah, recite your Qul Huwa 3 times with the intention, Ya Allah, this is what you promised. Grant me the reward as if I recited the Quran. You're tired, you're exhausted. Sit on your mat after Fajr. Fajr is a fard salah. It's not an optional one. So no matter what, you have to crawl up and get there. But when you get up there, remind yourself that Allah Azza wa Jal said, if I can sit here till sunrise, just remembering Him, I can do istighfar. I may not be able to read Quran because I'm in and out, I'm so tired, but I'm going to lie down on this prayer mat and I'm just going to do istighfar. Because this is what Allah promised. That if the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if I lie on this, if I stay on this, sitting here after praying Fajr, till 15 minutes after sunrise, I will get the reward as if I performed Umrah and Hajj. And to get that on Laylatul Qadr, or to get it on Ramadan, aim for that if you can. So pick the things you can do, the little you can do, but then amplify your intention. Amplify that intention. Look into your heart, polish your heart. I think that's even the work to do. What is the state of your heart? Work on that, amplify whatever intention you have, and do whatever it looks like. Wallahi, it's a lot to Allah. It will be a lot to Allah. Allah does not look down on these things. We're the ones that look down on it and judge it. He doesn't. He doesn't. He does not. Else he would not have given Jannah to a prostitute for giving water to a dog, a thirsty dog.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. So first of all, I want to say, Toy, yes, this is actually going live streaming on YouTube. And that link will leave there on YouTube, just like the one we did last week, Saturday. The one before, the first one we did was live streamed on Facebook and it's sitting there, but I'm going to find a way to put it on YouTube. So I'm going to send all the links, inshallah. And then I want to make special dua for our scribe. She's going by LBA in the chat box. My friend Latifa. Thank you very much. This is what she does. Every time she doesn't need to tell me she's on this call. When there's a hadith, she puts it. When there's a Quranic ayah, she puts it. Thank you very much. May Allah reward you abundantly. So her actions bring me to one point. I think I wrote this on Facebook, I think yesterday. I started fasting maybe when I was 7 years old. I was very young. And every year I've been fasting since then. But last year and this year, I did not fast. And last year, I was preoccupied going through this pregnancy that was, tasking on my body. This year, I'm breastfeeding. But apart from breastfeeding, I'm so distracted. I cannot even understand how one small tiny child like that, like a needle, can make you so distracted, you know? And I said, this year, I'm not going to let it go like last year. I'm going to find something. And this is one of the things that I'm finding. So when somebody's asking the record, I'm like, hey, yeah, Allah, you're going to accept this one too from me, because people are getting nuggets from.
Inshallah.
Yes. So
Yes.
I thank you, Aisha. I thank everybody who is listening, because this is one of my own, we say, risk mitigation strategies that I'm using to say, Allah, see me, or I'm here. Or, like hearing this.
Yes.
No, another one that I'm using, and I'm hoping that people can hear this again. The Form 1 Lagos group that is trying to build a hospital in Etios local government. We've raised 52% of the amount of money that they need to complete that hospital. Please, 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 if you would love to be a part of this, please reach out to me. I was looking for 1 million, 50 women to raise 1 million naira each. We now have about 37 women who have signed up to participate and who are sending their money, and we're sending this money to Form 1. I want to talk about this a little bit more now. When I grew up in Nigeria, and I always think about, a lot of the early work of the missionaries, the Christian missionaries, when they came to Nigeria, especially in the South. They built schools, they built hospitals, they built, all this infrastructure. And in so doing, they captured a lot of our Muslims and took them to their own religion. And this is not a religious practice, but, I think about that and I'm like, where is our work? And this is one of those things that I can think about, that this is our work, that people can look at this and say, this is something that the Muslims do and they did. I know we're all doing work in our own way, and I encourage everybody, even if it's not from one, give something. Aisha talked about, charity being a way for us to make up some of our, shortcomings. This is one project that I really, really like. A lot of our mothers, there was no Muslim mother in the Southwest that was not in Form 1. This was their place of belonging. This is where they belonged. This is what they did. This is what gave them, this is what gave them the Muslim identity. So let's help them put this root down. And what better place to do it? What better way to do it than to help heal the sick? So if you would love to participate, please, even if you don't have the capacity to raise 1 million, it does not matter. Just DM me. DM me, and we'll put my things in the chat box. DM me on social media or email or whatever. Let's help Form 1 raise this money. So let's go back to our programming. I have this question that is burning on my mind. They'll say, like, that's Qadri is the night that the Quran was revealed. Is it the entire Quran that was revealed that night, or is just the first Ikra? Please, I beg, enlighten me.
I'm not your scholar. I will not. I'm not even going to begin to try and.
No, but is it but truly when
why do you want to know? I'm more curious about why does.
But I'm curious. Because I'm thinking, when they say the Quran, because I know the Quran was revealed over many years. So is it that it's only on Lailatul Qadr days, that certain ayahs were revealed? Like, I don't understand the relationship between this night and the Quran revelation. I really truly don't understand.
Oh, I see. Okay, subhanallah. I don't know the statistics. If anybody here does, please unmute and educate us. The statistics, the data of it. What I understand is the profound gift that the Quran is. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that was given to us, and that is the miracle for Muslims. And mankind, really, because don't forget, it wasn't sent to Muslims, it was sent to all of the Rasulullah, and the Quran is sent to all of mankind. How it was done in Laylatul Qadr, wallahi, I do not know. What I do understand is it's the night of decree. So a lot of its power is in that night is when the decree is divvied up, for lack of a more elegant way to put it. Those of us that may reach next Ramadan or may not, all of that is brought down in that space. So it has been written from the beginning, long before creation. was out. I understand there's like, I think it's, I don't remember, Kitabul Mahfuz. It's written, it's with Allah. There's a book where everything is, but then the portion that is for the year to come only comes down on Laylatul Qadr and is handed to Jibril and passed down and then sent out and portioned out as the risk that we have for the rest of the year. So the importance, when you think about it from that perspective, that is your time really to make a lot of dua for what you seek. Not that it's not already written, but that's you, your striving, your tightening of your belt, your work that you are doing is the desire, the life you want to curate. And may I, if I remind all of us, what is Ramadan about? Maybe if everybody could type out, what do you understand Ramadan to be about? What is, if you were to say in just maybe a sentence or 2 words, what is Ramadan about?
For me, I would say it's about, for me personally, it's about restraint.
Okay.
Restraint in every sense of the word. Restraint from sinning. Restraint, like the whole act of restraining from food is, you know, it's the hardest physically, but it also teaches you restraining from bad habits, from bad talk, from like, you know, just restraining from like almost like delayed gratification. In when we're teaching finance, we're saying that, well, you know, you cannot be rich if you don't know how to delay gratification. If you are always instantly gratifying yourself, you will never be rich. So it's the same way I look at Ramadan, that how can you restrain yourself, knowing that I'm going to get this reward that Allah has promised the person who is breaking their fast. So because of that, I'm showing restraint from different things, because I want to be among those people that Allah is answering their prayer at the time of iftar. Allah is counting, you know, among people of Jannah at the time of iftar. So, you know, just restraint is what I think.
Okay, subhanallah, some amazing answers here. And I have a namesake in the room, subhanallah. Hey, namesake, Aisha D, taqwa, taqwa, taqwa. In simplest terms, it's taqwa, and restraint is a part of taqwa. Because what is taqwa? Taqwa is restraining yourself. It is submitting to what Allah Azza wa Jal has asked you to do, and not to do, and doing what He has said to do, and not doing what He has not. And the only way you reach Allah is through taqwa. You reach Him through purification. So restraining yourself is a purification, because that's hard. That is really difficult, to stop ourselves from what we want, our whims and desires. So when you break that into, if the entirety of Ramadan is for me to attain taqwa, to purify myself, to improve and strengthen my connection with Allah Azza wa Jal, how it is done is the numerous ways that are offered. And there are so many different ways, as we have already spoken about here. The Quran in its essence is one of the greatest ways to have a relationship with Allah. Because what is the Quran? It's the kalam of Allah. It is His speech. It is His divine offering to us. What is in there? It is the entire blueprint for us as human beings to understand who He is, who we are, and who we are going to be. Because let's also remember that this is the temporary space. This is the temporary covering. This is the temporary home. We are not permanent dwellers here. Home is with Allah. Home is with Allah. Now, home is with Allah is for the lucky ones. Home is with what Allah has prepared, is where now we decide which work are we doing, subhanAllah. So when you look at it from that perspective, the Quran is one of the only ways to Allah, really. It's one of the only ways that you reach Allah, you attain that taqwa, because if you do not know what He has said to you and why He's saying it and submit to that, how can you follow it? You can't prioritize what you don't accept or value or understand. It's never going to happen. You might do it superficially, but it's never going to have reached the heart. And Allah is all about the heart. Taqwa itself, that is the point of Ramadan, it resides in the heart. That is the home of taqwa. Taqwa is not in my actions. Allah tells us in the Quran, I don't know which surah it is, I don't remember the surah where He says Allah does not look to the direction you face to pray. That's not what He's looking at. He looks to your heart. He is looking at our hearts. So I will say, to add to everything that you're asking, Tope, for the exhausted, fatigued Muslimah, the person who is feeling like I haven't done enough, it's not enough, subhanAllah, everything is judged by the ending. It's the ending that matters. Your intention is everything, but it's the ending that matters. So if you leave here right now and you just assess and say to yourself, that 1 degree more, this is what it looks like for me to come out of this Ramadan with a different and a different connection than the one I entered Ramadan with to Allah, wallahi, you have succeeded. That is success. That is success. Just even recognizing that. And the Quran is key to that. It is very, very key to that. But how much of it, how little of it, what it looks like, when, how, where, that is for each individual, subhanAllah, on their journey to be able to determine where you are at and where you can be in these last nights.
So I want to say, first of all, thank you so much, Jazakallah khairan, Aisha, for this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time that we've had with you today. I'm super grateful, and I'm really inspired and encouraged that someone like me, who has blown the first 22 days, actually can, make amends in the last 7 nights,
Okay, you know that? I'm gonna, may I,
Yes.
subhanAllah, even that language, might I tell you a quick anecdote. I don't know if it is genuine, it happened, but please, may I, just off the back of you saying I have blown my 20-something days.
I know.
May I?
Yes.
You know what I said about the Hadith Qudsi, that
Yes.
Allah Azza wa Jal has promised, I am as my servant thinks of me. This is one of my favorite things to think of Allah. In times before human beings, they lived long lives. A man lived and worked really hard to be a good servant of Allah for 500 years. He did the restraint you're talking about, restrained himself, exerted himself. When he died, the angels came and gave him glad tidings. Peace be upon you. By the mercy of your Lord, here you go, turn to the right. You have been granted Jannah. He started going and heading in that direction, and then he stopped. And he goes to them, my Lord is as he says he is. My Lord is a just Rabb. I know how hard I worked and what I didn't do and what I stopped myself from doing when I was alive. I know how hard I worked for those 500 years for Jannah. My Rabb is just, and he will give me Jannah, not by his mercy, but by my effort. The angels said, wait right there in the waiting room. They went to Allah, they told Allah what he said, and Allah said, I am as my servant thinks I am. I indeed, this is who I am. I am Al-Adl. Bring the scales and take one of my favors upon my servant and place it on there and put his 500 years of good deeds on the scale, and let us see what justice looks like for him. And they took the sight in one eye, eyesight that Allah has blessed us with. They took one and put it on the scale. His 500 years of good deeds was decimated into nothing, nothing. The angel said, well, indeed, Allah, justice has been served, turn to the left. This is now what you have earned for yourself in 500 years, subhanAllah. He turns and he starts going, then he stops and he says to them, my Rabb is Ar-Rahman, my Rabb is Ar-Rahim, my Rabb is merciful, he is compassionate, and he is Al-Ghafur, At-Tawwab, and he will ignore my foolishness, and he will forgive my foolishness, Ya Rabb. And they went and told Allah, and Allah said, I am as my servant thinks I am. I have go and tell my slave, I have forgiven him, and I indeed have granted him Jannah by my mercy. And that always makes me emotional. It always makes me emotional, because we do ourselves a disservice not to have fear and awe of Allah, yes, but also not to know him, to know that he is there wanting to give you, wanting to help you, wanting to strengthen you, wanting to pick you up, wanting to purify your heart, wanting you to succeed, wanting you to get that Jannah with him for eternity. So no, don't say you messed up, because your Rabb, as far as he's concerned, subhanallah, Tope, there's just, until that last breath, there is always Allah waiting with mercy to receive you. Bismillah. Please don't say that again.
May Allah have mercy on me. May Allah have mercy on all of us. And I always say that, I don't think, I ask for the best part of Jannah, but I don't think I'm going to make it by my deeds. I think I'm going to make it by the mercy of Allah. And when I'm making dua, I say, Allah, don't give me this thing I'm asking because I'm asking and I'm good. Give me because you can do it. And if you do it, nobody can question you. So may Allah have mercy, and may he overlook our shortcomings. That things that we've done, that we've done that have been wrong, the opportunities that we've missed, there's some open goalposts in this month of Ramadan that in reflecting, I know that I'm like, Tope, that was an easy one. You should have just taken it. Allah, you are the one who knows why. And I pray that He overlooks that and indeed just showers us with His mercy. I want to thank you, honestly, for this reminder that you have reminded us that we're not perfect, but at the same time, we're not bad. We are not bad people. As long as we are striving, Allah is ready, to accept us. Yoruba people say that it's the child that stretches out their hand that the adult carries. So we're stretching out our hand, and Allah is shy to ignore us and not carry us. So we pray that on the day that it matters most, that we're all passing to the right side. We're all getting our books on the right side. And, and that Allah will make this reminder that you've reminded us today benefit us on that day and benefit you as well. Please, sisters, remember me in your dua during this last 10 nights. Remember my daughter. Her name is Remilekun Zikra Abike Balogun. Remember her in your dua, please. Remember my sister Aisha Dahiru-Attah, who along with Miro are the only Hausa people that have given me masa in this life. So they are now my favorite Hausa people in this world. So, but remember her in your dua, and remember all of our teachers who have spoken to us as well. I'm going to put this series, I'm going to embed them on my personal website, which is mamaremi.com. So we can always go back to watch them over and over again. Thank you all so much. I pray that we all have a chance to gather again outside of Ramadan. And may Allah continue to keep us steadfast on the path of Islam. Last but not the least, please remember the people of Gaza in your dua. Remember the people of Gaza in your dua. Remember the people of Gaza. May Allah defeat their enemies. May Allah help us. And remember us Nigerian Americans in your dua too. We're going through a lot. Please remember us in your dua. May our country of origin and our country of residence, be peaceful. And may Allah, indeed put His barakah in all of our earnings. Thank you so much, sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting such a beautiful session, as always. Jazakumullah khair to all of you for having me and being patient. May Allah accept it. And my dua is on top of yours is, Ya Allah, those who hear about this to come, may they benefit even more than those that have been in this space from what we have said.
Ameen.
And any mistakes are from us, Ya Allah, forgive us. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.
And to the sister who is saying we should do this outside of Ramadan, inshallah, I hope that Allah makes it possible for that to happen. I hope and pray that we're able to do it outside of Ramadan. I pray. It is my intention that we're able to gather, even if it's once a quarter. May Allah make it possible for us. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Make sure I read all the messages.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That's Ayinkus. I see you. I hear you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for these gifts, Sister Tope. May Allah continue to bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you, Sister Aisha.
Appreciate you every time. Allah reward you.
Ameen.
This is so profound. Thank you so much. Thank you.
What did you say?